Hey everyone, it's another day and time for another What If devotion. I hope you're having a great day today. And I wanted to touch on the topic today. What if I focused on what God can do even when I think I can't do it? You know, we oftentimes spend our lives looking at our inefficiencies and not focusing on what God has the ability to do. For me, I always try to give you some personal things. Like I feel inefficient as a leader. A lot of times I feel ineffective as a pastor. I don't always feel like I can achieve much just because I feel like I'm incapable at times. But here's the thing is that it's not based solely on our capabilities to see great things happen in our lives. In fact, a lot of times we're put in positions to where we can't do things because then we have to rely on God so He can show His power and His ability to do things through those of us who maybe feel like we can't and probably couldn't if we were left to ourselves. The same thing happened with Moses. And I always loved the scripture because it is God's way of saying, trust in me, trust in my abilities. And it's hard for us to do that. When we're truly honest with ourselves, when we're truly honest, we weigh every opportunity by what we think we can do, right? What we think we have enough money to do, what we think we have enough talent to do, what we think we have enough time to do. But rarely do we actually ask God, what can you do through me? If only I believe. As God was calling Moses to go to Pharaoh, that wasn't the easiest calling in the world for Moses to accept. It wouldn't be for any of us either. But here's what happens. As God calls Moses to go to Pharaoh, He's calling Moses to do something that Moses is uncomfortable with. It's something that just the thought of kind of overwhelms Moses. So what Moses does, he makes excuses. He says, who am I that I can do something like this? And God, strikes down that excuse. But then he gets to this point in Exodus chapter 4, in verse number 10. He says, but Moses replied to the Lord, he says, please, Lord, I've never been eloquent, either in the past or recently, or since you have been speaking to your servant, because I'm slow and hesitant in speech. What Moses was saying was, Lord, I don't speak well enough to go stand before Pharaoh on your behalf. I'm not good enough to do that. Why don't you pick someone else who is better? And here's what God says. In verse number 11, Yahweh said to him, who made the human mouth? Who makes him mute or deaf, seeing or blind? Is it not I, Yahweh? Now go, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. Now, as we know, Aaron would get involved in this eventually, but those words from the Lord are so imperative for you and I to remember every day of our lives. Why? Because we feel like we can't, but God says that He has the ability to do it through us. He said, go and I will speak for you, and I will teach you what it is that you are to say. How many opportunities have we wasted in our lives because we just weighed everything out by what we could do and not what God could do? Believe me, I don't believe I should ever be a pastor of any church, much less the one that I have. I don't think that most of the time my sermons are all that great, and I feel like an ineffective leader most days of my life. But I've watched as God has done amazing things because He's God and He has that ability. Sometimes we just have to accept the call of God, tell the Lord we'll give it everything that we have, and let Him do the rest. See, God's probably calling you to a Pharaoh moment in your life right now. And you're sitting there looking at it and weighing it out, but you're weighing it on the basis of what you think you can do, what resources you think you have, what abilities you feel like you possess. He's not calling you based on just those factors. In fact, He's calling you to learn more about Him and experience Him even more fully as He calls you into the great unknown. When He calls us into those things that are over our head and beyond our ability, He's given us the opportunity to see Him in a whole new way, to see Him as a God who provides and a God whose abilities are unlimited. So today, whatever that Pharaoh thing is in your life, That thing that seems bigger than you, the thing that you've weighed out, what you can do, what you think you're talented enough to do, what you think maybe you've got enough resources to do or not do. How about stepping up and saying, okay, God, I trust you to be more than what I need for the moment. What if today we trusted God to be more than what we need at the moment? He always is. He always has been. If you look through Scripture, that's the great thing about Scripture. He takes common, ordinary, completely unqualified people, and he does these amazing things through them. One of my favorite chapters to read is in Hebrews chapter 11, the roll call of faith, and how just these ordinary people who had mistakes and shortcomings, that by faith God could do amazing, huge things through their lives. Today, let's trust God and not weigh things out based on our abilities. Yeah, we are totally unprepared for some things. But God is always prepared. And He always has more than enough to see His mission fulfilled. Face that Pharaoh moment today, knowing that you serve a God who's bigger than that Pharaoh. Have a great day.